I'm sorry, this is an error or this is a penalty.
Zoning board of appeals.
Zoning board. Yeah. But she's not dead, but yeah. It's yeah, it's something. Yes. Someone that's what I understood. Right?
Yeah.
It was something to appeal. Is that what he said?
The appeals don't go before the zoning board of appeals. I believe they go to the Superior Court of DeKalb County. Because the zoning board of appeals makes the decision. Yes, this is the zoning board of appeals, yes.
So she's on this board, but not here today.
That's correct, yes. That's exactly it.
So I understand her opposition. Yes, I would. If I were to.
Paul's usually really prompt about an argument. Hello.
Seek a variance.
Right. All right, it's 6 o'clock or 6:01 potentially. Time to convene the zoning board of appeals for January 8th, 2026. Calling this meeting to order. Roll call. We have a quorum, but not much more. And we may expect another board member arriving. Minutes from the December meeting, team. Anything? Any changes or
I
minutes?
move to approve the December 2025 minutes.
All right, we have first and a second. All those in favor? Minutes from December are approved. We're going to defer the organizational procedural items. Before we get started, I'll read the preamble. Zoning Board of Appeals Chairman's preamble, which states that the Zoning Board of Appeals is charged with the responsibility of granting variances to ordinance requirements after determining whether there exists an undue hardship upon an applicant. In determining whether or not to grant a variance, the board shall apply the criteria specified in the City Code of Ordinances to the facts of each case. The Zoning Board of Appeals does not create zoning, nor can it change zoning. Matters brought before the Zoning Board of Appeals are to be concerned only with variances from requirements of the zoning ordinance, sign ordinance, and development and environmental ordinance. The board has no authority to grant variances for use, density, or height. Further, the board hears cases requesting an appeal to a staff interpretation or decision on these same ordinances. Final decisions of the Zoning Board of Appeals may be appealed by petitioning the Superior Court of DeKalb County within 30 days after the decision here is rendered. And with that, we'll proceed to the first case, which is actually unfinished business, ZBA 25-19.
Thank you. So as a quick reminder, they're seeking two variances, a lot coverage variance and a setback variance. The setback variance is for retaining walls in order to construct the main project, which is a sport court. It was originally presented before you all as a pickleball court, and it's been tweaked a little bit. So at the December 4th, 2025 meeting, we held a public hearing regarding the case. At that meeting, the applicant requested deferral in order to prepare new plans for a sport court rather than a pickleball court. In late December, the applicant provided updated plans that show a sport court for use for bocce, golf, and basketball. The proposed sport court is 1,500 square feet, which is 300 square feet smaller than the previously proposed project. And so they're still requesting a lot coverage variance, but it's less than what was previously requested by about almost 2%. The retaining wall variance request remains the same. We received there in the application packet were included 2 letters in support and 1 in opposition, which you had previously seen. And then we received 1 public comment after the applicant changed the proposal, and that was distributed to everyone here tonight. These are the existing conditions. And so the applicant is proposing to construct a sport court to the rear of the home. You can see it in blue on the site plan to the right, and the retaining walls surround it in red. So the sport court will consist of a bocce ball court, a basketball court, and a golf court. And you can see those from left to right in the proposed rendering on the left. The proposed project will increase the lot coverage to 35.7%, which is 5.7% more than the maximum allowed lot coverage, prompting a variance request. And then the second variance request is for the retaining walls in order to construct the sport court. So the subject property meets the minimum standards for lot area and frontage. Additionally, it's of a similar size and shape to other properties in the subdivision. There are no unique conditions about the property that necessitate the lot coverage variance. At 1,500 square feet, the proposed sport court presents a substantial increase in impervious surface. While the applicant has proposed mitigation for increased runoff in the form of aquacell underground detention system sized for the added impervious area, staff finds that the requested lot coverage variance goes beyond the minimum necessary to afford relief. Staff finds that the grant of the variance could constitute a grant of special privilege, inconsistent with the limitations upon other similarly situated properties. The property has substantial other improvements for outdoor activities, including a pool and a patio. And so in staff's opinion, even without the sport court, the residents enjoy the opportunity to utilize the property for its intended purpose as a residence. Thus, staff finds no extreme hardship or practical difficulty. The rear setback variance is requested for the retaining walls, which are required as part of the sport court construction in order to create a flat area suitable for playing. The proposed retaining walls are a relatively minor improvement. Though staff sees no harm in the retaining wall proposal, the retaining walls are merely to support the sport court, and staff therefore recommends denial of both variance requests. So based on these reasons, staff is recommending denial of the variances. Should the zoning board of appeals choose to approve the request, staff is recommending our 2 standard conditions. Thank you.
Thanks, Allegra. Board, any initial questions or on Allegra's presentation?
Did you get the letter that was in opposition from the neighbor? Has that changed at all?
We haven't received an update to that since the proposal was
Okay,
changed. No.
thank you.
Okay. All right, with the applicant care to address the board and state the changes to the application and update us.
Yes, thank you.
And just a reminder, restate your name and
Sure.
address for the record.
Yeah, good evening, Peter Bricks, the owner at 1336 Manjad Way, Dunwoody 30338. So first off, just because it's on my mind in regards to that last question, just to clarify, when I got the kind of heat map prior to the last hearing and reached out to the neighbors about the pickleball court idea at that time, there was the one neighbor who opposed, and when he did, I changed the plans. I did talk to him back then. I haven't talked to him since because, we had a nice conversation, but my understanding was the only objection was the noise, which is apparently a non-factor. So as far as I know, he has no objection. And then I read through the memo, and I don't believe noise is an issue here today. In regards to the kind of 6 conditions highlighted in the application for a variance, I believe, are they looking at these? Okay. Several of them, I think it's like 2 and 3 unique conditions to the property. And because of the particular conditions of the property, would not enjoy rights and privileges of similar situated homes. I did include tonight some photos of my driveway, just so you can see there is a incredibly steep drop on the driveway, and essentially there is no possible way to put any sort of basketball hoop in the driveway area. I simply could not maneuver my car around, and then on top of that, it would be extremely dangerous with potential of a ball going down the hill, steep hill at a high rate of speed. So in regards to the comment that there are not unique conditions, I would say the setup of the driveway is a unique condition. And I think that this kind of comes down to, my understanding from the city's position, reading through the memo, is the Aquasil product itself. There's not a particular issue with that. While I acknowledge that won't change the pervious impervious percentage, that is something that I believe the purpose of the percentages is pretty much for runoff issues. And as far as I'm aware, the Aquasil underneath it would alleviate that concern. In regards to, so more or less kind of the way I look at it was I could propose to do it with pervious surface underneath, which would just have taken me out of this whole variance process, or have just not even proposed the Aquasil and be a part of this various process. And I feel like I kind of split the difference, address the concerns of the pervious impervious percentage, and my understanding of these sport court surfaces are just better and longer lasting if you can put a concrete substance underneath. So looking at a way to do that while at the same time respecting the city's position on anything related to runoff issues. So, I mean, with that in mind, I'm happy to take questions, but I'm not sure exactly how the flow and the process works.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Yeah, there's time allotted for anybody else who wants to speak in favor of the application. I don't think we had any cards. Do we, guys? Any speaker cards today? May sign up to speak. Okay. And then any opposition as well, is there's time for that. So I don't think we have anybody signed up. Okay. So with that, we'll open up to the board for additional questions for the applicant.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure.
So thank you for your willingness to try to mitigate the overage of the lot coverage. So with the aqua cell, I'm not familiar with it. I tried to do a little bit of research, but if you have a concrete surface under the court, are you able to explain how the aqua cell system still absorbs water through the concrete?
If I may,
And okay, I mean,
well, I'm just gonna say, I think Paul may be better, because I mean, we've, discussed
You've
it.
discussed.
So,
okay.
yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, these systems, it pretty much is just like there's a drain somewhere on the concrete, and then the water gets not channeled like off-site, but it gets channeled into this aquacell system where it gets stored and then slowly released. So it's not that it goes directly into it, but it really goes through a drain, and then sort of a pipe goes into the aquacell system.
So there is a drain, or there are multiple drains at points on that court
Correct. Yeah.
where the water is pulled into.
Yeah, it gets channeled. Think of
Channeled.
it like with a home where you have, your roof leaders that are coming down from the home. That in current homes, and I would presume in probably the applicant's home too, that gets taken underground and then also deposited in a similar system. And the point of it is, to replicate almost the slow infiltration into the ground.
And so from a staff perspective, do you feel that has any, I don't want to say that it has any merit. I mean, in theory, it sounds like it could compensate for the overage of lot coverage, but do you know of other surfaces that have used that type of system? So that, in other words, that it would give you all a sense of validation that, yes, we've seen this work. It compensates for.
And we had the city engineer review this. These are very typical solutions. I mean, these are the typical engineering solutions for a problem like this. Are they a perfect system? No. I mean, they're sized like based on certain engineering specifications to a certain rainfall event for a certain volume. Over the years, these things in theory function well. They're the typical engineering solution. They function well. The problem is the maintenance over time, and then the purpose of lot coverage is partially yes, it is sort of it is stormwater management, but it also partially is maintaining open space as a general system. That's our main tool in single family neighborhoods, to maintain open space also as sort of a habitat. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for the applicant, guys? So to be clear, the main change in the application is twofold, right? It's the reduction in actual space, and it's the drainage system, correct? That's
I think also it's a change from a pickleball court to a sport court that
Yeah, to me, that's irrelevant. It's not relevant to the variance itself. That might help the neighbor, but it doesn't have anything to do with the variance.
The underground system was previously, that was
I thought so.
present
I
last
thought
month
so.
too.
Yeah. So really, it's the reduction in size, and then the use case, if you will, has been restated from.
I've got a question. Are there basketball courts that can be pervious?
So, I mean, it depends on, so when I answer this, are we talking Olympic courts? Then probably no.
No, but
Like,
backyard like type of courts that could be pervious. Is there a material that could be used?
then you can do pervious concrete, for instance. I mean, pervious concrete more or less has similar specifications. The the more of a perfectionist you are, sort of as an athlete, the more you will want to have a certain type. That I can't speak to as sort of a non-athlete. But could you play sports on sort of a pervious concrete type surface? Yeah, yeah.
Do you know of any that are in Dunwoody?
Uh, I don't, but
I'm just wondering, like,
we
what was, and maybe this would be a question for the owner.
yeah.
So if you could come up for just a second, I have one question about that. Have you looked at that type of concrete?
Yeah, so I have done some online research. My understanding was just the pervious was a more solid foundation that was going to last long. I'm sorry, impervious was a more solid foundation that was going to last longer. So my thoughts were I wanted to try to go this route and do it that way with the Aquacell versus doing a pervious surface. I'm aware that if it were to be denied, that would be essentially my option at that point.
Well, I don't know because of the wall. So I don't know how, I guess, how does that work, staff?
So, technically those are two separate requests. They could be evaluated separately if the zoning board of appeals wanted to. Additionally, a wall like that could be handled administratively with a special
Okay.
administrative permit. We just pushed it through the variance process because that's our standard procedure when we have an item requiring a variance and another one that could be done administratively.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, thoughts? Yeah, so we'll close it from questions and we'll go entirely to board discussion.
I'll start. I really appreciate the degree that the owner went back and looked at things, and I'm looking at the formal letter of intent and everything like that. The thing that I'm really hung up on is kind of twofold. One, there's not a strong hardship here. I understand the slope of the driveway and things like that. It's not a very strong case. And that's coming from someone who lives on a busy road not far from this property. And I certainly can appreciate the desire to keep away from busy roads and streets for children and stuff. The other thing I think that is very notable is it's unfortunate in the set of circumstances that the applicant came to us first with the intent of doing a pickleball and now wants to convert it to a sport court, because to me that just kind of shows all the cards, because I don't want the city or anyone else for that matter to be put in a position of policing what they can and can't do with their property as much as what we're allowed to approve and not approve within the confines of what we are. But the fact remains, still, even with the reduction of roughly 3%, right, from 37 to 35, we're still 5% over. And it's specifically for this case for this purpose that doesn't have a hardship associated with it. That's a very strong case. And that's I'm not one to deny a homeowner of enjoying the property, but there's already a pool on the property. It is almost a 0.8 acre lot, I think. And so that 30% already of that 0.8 is still considerable size. Like I said, I read the responses from the applicant in detail, and I just want to let y'all know where I kind of stood with things.
So in a similar vein, before I say my comments, I want someone to remind me, what is the current coverage amount? Do you all remember? Otherwise, I'll ask staff. Does it?
The existing is around 31%, I believe, maybe
Okay.
slightly over. The maximum allowed is 30%.
Okay, thank you. So he's already, let's call it, just slightly over the maximum. And one of our criteria has always been, is it exceeding the minimum amount necessary to afford relief? And I'm hearing that basketball is the big draw, is the big concern, because basketball can't go on the driveway, and the pictures explain, and obviously we're concerned about safety. But the sport court also incorporates a bocce court and a golf court. And so I feel like if the plan were sized down to just incorporate a basketball court, then at that point, maybe it wouldn't exceed the amount required, or it wouldn't exceed the maximum coverage percentage, but it would be the minimum to provide relief. I don't know that relief is necessary, because as you've already stated, there really isn't a strong hardship other than I can't put a basketball hoop on my driveway.
Yeah, and yeah,
Right. So I guess you're right. So they're already over. So
yeah. And those are all good points. But I mean, whether it's front yard, backyard, side yard, it's one of those things when you buy a piece of property, it's yours for better or for worse. There's no such thing as a perfect house, right? Or property. I mean, the other thing is I know these pictures these are good pictures to show, but if you also look at satellite images and stuff too, you can play basketball. There's a flat area up there before you get down to the slope. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's what to the degree of your liking or anything like that. But again, it's not under the board's purview about what you do with your property outside of approving what variances are. So, maybe you figure out the owner can figure out a way to do something in the front for a little bit of, it's not our say, so to speak, but and that's just the thing that I can't see pass is the hardship, really, and the minimally afforded relief. So
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I don't see a great concession from the last time, and the board has been pretty clear about their objections. So for us to overturn that, yeah, it's minimal. It's less than 2% change in the previous area. You could use it, like you said. We can't dictate use. You could use it for soccer or whatever. There's room up there. It's not like it's unusable. It's just hard to refute the position of the staff on this one.
And we, as you said, we do appreciate the attempt to mitigate with the aquacell. But seeing as that it's already over the coverage amount, I guess it's just adding more.
Yep. Correct. They've used up some of their coverage. Any other thoughts, motions? Okay. I can.
Where's my page? I am going to make a motion to deny the request for a variance from Chapter 27, Section 58 to exceed the maximum lot coverage to allow construction of a sport court, and one variance from Chapter 27, Section 269 to allow retaining walls to encroach into the rear setback.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to deny the application. All those in favor of denial? That's unanimous, say the four against, 0 nay. All right, on to new business. ZBA 25-20. Allegra, would you please walk us through this case?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So it's 2338 Delverton Drive, and they're requesting a variance to allow a deck to encroach into the rear setback. So the lot's zoned R100, and it's a little over 20,000 square feet. It's currently developed with a two-story single-family home built in 1973. A portion of the existing house and all of an existing rear deck are encroaching into the 40-foot rear setback. There is a 25-foot lake buffer along the western edge of the property. None of the improvements that are existing or proposed encroach into the lake buffer, just mention it as context for the property. And there's also a 10-foot sanitary sewer easement that runs from the northern property line to the southeastern corner of the property. And these photos show the existing deck. So the applicant proposes to replace the existing deck with a slightly smaller deck in a different footprint. And the proposed deck will encroach into the 40-foot rear setback by a maximum of 15 feet, prompting a variance request. You can see the proposed deck in red on the survey to the right, and the renderings are shown on the left. So the subject property, meets the minimum standards for lot area and frontage. However, the house is set back 57 feet from the front property line. So that's significantly further than the required 35-foot street setback, sort of pushing everything towards the rear of the property. And the buildable area is further limited by the sanitary sewer easement, as well as the 25-foot lake buffer. So there is no option for rear improvements to the house without encroaching into the rear setback, as the house lines up right with the rear setback and encroaches ever so slightly itself. Additionally, the existing deck is encroaching even further than the proposed deck into the 40-foot rear setback, and so staff considers the project the minimum necessary to afford relief. They just need the variance because they're changing the footprint of the deck, essentially. The deck is a standard improvement, and the proposed deck is 130 square feet less than the existing deck. The proposed project would not constitute a grant of special privilege. We consider the proposed encroachment into the rear setback relatively minor. Without accounting for the unique conditions of the site, the strict application of the setback requirements could prevent incremental changes to the property over time, which staff considers a practical difficulty. So overall, staff finds that the project would not be detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, and that the request meets the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance. Based on these reasons, we are recommending approval of the request, subject to our two standard conditions shown on the screen here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any initial questions? Would the applicant care to address the board? Yeah, just state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Kobus Breitenbach, owner of 33 North. I'm here on behalf of my client, Brian Nichols, that's currently in Tennessee with his elderly father. I'm really just here to answer questions. But other than that, the deck currently it's not safe currently, and he wants to make it smaller. He said, we don't need a big deck. There's like a hot tub in the back there. He's like, it's a snake pit. He's like, we just want to make it small, make it functional. So if you have any questions, happy to help.
Okay, great. I don't think there's anybody else speaking in favor, right? Okay. And no one opposed. So thank you. With that, I'll close it for board discussion, if there is any. Or questions?
I can make a motion.
Yeah.
Actually, before you make a motion, can we just summarize that?
Yeah, while we're motioning.
That the house is already set back so significantly, and the existing deck is unsafe. The new deck will be smaller, encroach less than the existing deck. Anything else?
Yeah, and there's no way to make improvements in the rear of them without further incursion. So yeah, the fact that they're limiting the size of it, it is unique to have a home 57 feet from the front. I don't know, the lot must necessitate that, but that's super unusual. So it pushes it right up against the back. So they have no choice. And especially if it's unsafe, I think this is a no-brainer.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion. I move to approve the request for one variance from chapter 27, section 58 to allow a deck to encroach into the rear setback, subject to the following conditions. Number one, construction must be in substantial compliance with the submitted site plan prepared by Survey Systems Atlanta and dated 12/22/2025. See Appendix A. If, number two, if construction is not commenced within 2 years of the granting of this variance, approval shall be void.
Second,
First and a second for approval. All those in favor of approving?
Aye.
There it is, unanimous. Thank you. All right, on to other business, gang, which is election time.
Mr. Chairman, because we don't have it on the agenda right now,
Yes.
what I would ask you all to do is to do a motion for the election of the chair and the vice chair position.
Yes, somebody make a motion besides me, but we need a
I'll
motion
make a motion
to add it to the agenda. Yeah,
to add it to the agenda for the election of the chair and vice chair.
give it a second, but.
I second that motion.
All right, all those in favor of adding the annual elections to this month's agenda? Passed. All right, good. This may be swift too. We need some
I'll
nominations.
make a motion
Okay, there we
for the
go.
nominations.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I'm not gonna leave the board, but I think it's time. We have a succession plan. We've never had a linear succession plan, but I think we should kind of enact one. We've got a very capable vice chair, very capable board, so it's time for somebody else to do it. So I'll be, what's third string? It's like Speaker of the House. If somebody somebody's not here and they need me to do the. Well, yeah, doesn't matter. So I think it makes sense. I think that everybody's capable, but this guy's, I think you two have been on the board for 5 years or so. It's hard to believe. And Tara's been on 5, so all three of them been on 5 years. Tara, I don't think wants to do it.
No.
So go ahead and make a nomination. I think we're all aligned.
I would like to nominate Ellen as chair and Ryan as vice chair. Both are present.
Point of order, since I can't, do we need a motion for that? You're nominating, so is that, we need a second nomination. These guys are involved, so I guess as chairman, can I
Yeah.
second it? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, well, I second that. All right, just make sure we're making protocol here. I don't want you guys to be illegal. All right, we have a motion on the table for a succession plan for the new officers in 2026. Ellen being chair and Ryan being vice chair. All those in favor of that move? None opposed, and 3 aren't here, so they're gonna have to like it.
At least for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So congratulations, guys. You're both doing a fantastic job.
Congratulations.
You'll do a fantastic job.
And,
Yeah.
and thank you for all the years that you've served as chair, as you've set a tremendous example that
No cash.
I will follow to the best of my ability.
It's fine. Thank you, guys.
And thank you, of course, to staff who always
Yeah, that
does so much for us to be able to do our roles here. Thank you.
The best staff.
we're like the anchor people, they just show up and read the cue cards kind of.
That's exactly right.
You guys do all the work. So yes, thank you, staff.
Yeah.
Keep it. We get a lot of analogies tonight.
Tom Brokaw.
Yeah.
So that was the board comment. Thank you for that. Yes, thank you as always, staff. It's fantastic. This is a fun board. It's just a reason I've been here forever, I think, is this is just staff's been fantastic the whole time. I've always had good board and really good sound decisions that we've made. It's evolved over the years, but it's and I think we've kind of remedied some of the mundane ones now. We've kind of made some motions to so we're not seeing as many stream buffers and things like that that are really academic. We have some meaningful ones, and you guys are great with your homework, and I appreciate that. So you made it easy. Thank you. With that, I think we're adjourned. All right.
Yeah.
Is there some kind of a ceremony?
Passing the gavel.
Yeah, the gavel's hitting
Wait,
this.
wait, swear in?
You want security?
No, but